What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys. I hope you're doing well. I am back from all my travels, holidays, weddings, everything. I should be a little settled for a while, so appreciate the patience and appreciate the patience while there's been a little bit of less content the past couple of days. But it seems like I've missed quite a bit, and when I came back, a couple things happened. First of which, it looks like Bitcoin is pumping today. So I'm recording this on the evening of Sunday, January 8th. Bitcoin is back over 17K. And it's feeling pretty good so far. But one thing that I wanted to address in this video is the fact that I'm getting a lot of comments now on, oh, what happened to Papa Bear? Papa Bear's gone. I seem to be bullish on a lot. And the truth is I am. And I figured I would address it head on because it's funny. It's just like if I'm making a lot of like bearish content, people are like, oh, you're just a bear, right? And you call me out on that. Now I'm making bullish content and people are like, oh, what happened to Papa Bear? So, you can't win. But the truth is that I get excited about the game. I get excited about things that are happening within the game. And then I want to talk about it. And that's where the bullish content comes from. And then if there's things that happen within the game that I don't necessarily like, or that I think that I might disagree with, or if I'm not seeing the long or short or medium term outlook, I'll say it too. So to me, it doesn't feel any different, but I noticed the comments. So I will say this. It does seem like with the turn of the new year and the first town hall that we had a week ago, and we're going to get another one tomorrow, which is great. But with that town hall, it sounds like the team, I don't want to say is firing on all cylinders, because I think there's still a lot that they need to determine in terms of getting us all these different timelines. But the focus is there. The focus is there. Going back to the December 13th, which is almost a month back now, December 13th delivery, which brought us land phase 0.5. We had Rooney. We had a bunch of other things that came in around that time, some new rule sets. This, to me, it's an exciting time. I still maintain that I think it's going to be tough, at least in the first half of 2023. Again, I like to look at macro, and I don't see them lowering interest rates anytime soon. In fact, I see them continuing to raise interest rates because inflation here is still above 7% here in the US, right? I'm curious to see what those inflation numbers look like for December once we get the December numbers in. And if it can start to go down, I have actually become a little bit more optimistic on a potential soft landing, which is not something that I can say that I was seeing, just a couple of months ago. Now, let's not get too excited about that. And I don't want to go too deep on macro, because the reason that I'm bullish isn't really about macro. My whole macro thing was, well, we're either going to go, hard and fast down, or it's going to be a slow bleed through 2023, right? At some point, hopefully we'll find a bottom in 2023. But when it comes to Splinterlands, there's so much cool stuff in the works, and stuff that stuff that Weirdbeard has been talking about, stuff that the team has been talking about in town halls. Again, I know people feel differently about the DECB, but the fact that it is now soulbound, it looks like it'll pass. I'm planning on grabbing some. It sounds like a lot of people are planning to grab some too. We are seeing a push towards the tokenomics, and I know all of 2022 was spent on tokenomics, it seems. But with the push to tokenomics, as well as a renewed focus on the features within the game. So, right, if we get Battle Pass, if we get some new game modes, stuff that Matt was talking about in the most recent town hall, all of those things, especially if they can be delivered in the first half of this year. And the first 6 months is a long time. I know it's gonna fly by. It's gonna feel short, but the day-to-day grind is really tough, right? Because it's like, man, I want all this stuff, but we're not even halfway through January. And DECB, if it does pass, they're hoping to get it out by the end of January, which is another 3 weeks, right? It's another 3 town halls potentially of like, yeah, it's coming. But hopefully we'll have other things to talk about in those town halls. So ultimately, what it comes down to is I think that the team is in a good spot where when we do get this roadmap, and I am excited to take a look at it, I'm hoping that we get it tomorrow. This will give us a better understanding of what to expect. But I do think several things. The team is focusing very much on getting the tokenomics right. Again, They were doing this last year, but there was a lot of things that the community disagreed with them on. I feel like we're getting into a place where I don't know if the community is on the same page. I know that there's still a lot of people who are, on the fence about the ECB and all the things, the market manipulation that the team is trying to do. But trust me, I'm for it. I think that the team needs to do something. I don't want the markets to market because at that point, I got to catch myself here. I am for open and free markets, but the team is operating within that open and free market, if that makes sense, right? So it's not like I want some external market manipulation. Obviously, the whales are manipulating it, but I want the team to do what they can with the resources that they have to get the tokenomics into a better place. And first of which is to reduce the DEC supply and then start eating through a lot of the extra SPS that is out there. But aside from that, it's the game features I think that I'm most excited about, because guilds, guild alliances, whatever they have planned for Rooney, Battle Pass potentially, like all this stuff could be coming relatively soon. And when I say soon, like 3 to 6 months. And I am very curious. Again, I don't know what's going to happen. So this is not like financial advice, go out and, YOLO into Chaos Legion packs. But I am very curious to see what happens once Chaos is gone. My expectations aren't really high. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I don't think we're going to see anything near, obviously Untamed. I'm trying to get a better understanding of what beta was like when it sold out during a bear market. But the fact that Chaos Legion will be gone, I think should be interesting overall for the economy, for the game, and it could create this weird anxiety that we had between Untamed and Chaos Legion. And when I say anxiety, it's this like anticipation for new cards that builds this kind of anticipation, and new players could potentially be coming in at that time where they would come in. There wouldn't be the same kind of hype that there was between Untamed and Chaos Legion, but them coming in at that time and, assets only being available in secondary markets. Again, it could create some fun little momentum. Again, I don't think that it's going to be insane, but we are attracting new players. There are new signups every day, as small as that number might be. And overall, people are still playing the game. It's still up and running. Nothing has gone down. And if anything, we are getting all these small tweaks, these low-hanging fruits that the team are addressing, as well as the bigger ones that we're hoping that we get. So obviously, land is a big one that we want to see, the full phase 1 out probably by the end of the month is what I'm hoping. I don't know what the release for this Tuesday will be, but if you remember kind of a timeline that I gave a little while back, I wasn't expecting much on this past Tuesday, although, they did deliver some stuff then. But when it comes to land, I was expecting we were going to get, I think it's like market functionality. Then we were going to get some updated like UI, UX, and like zooming on the map. And then we would get land phase 1. Now, will we get those actually 3 weeks in a row? I have no idea. We'll have to see what Farpetrad or whoever's coming on to represent land in tomorrow's town hall talks about. But if it is that close, then that would be awesome, right? But the fact that the team is trying to deliver so much just within the month of January, and we know that they're planning out what things will look like over the rest of the quarter. Again, I'm looking at this in small bite-sized chunks, and I really am curious to see how January, February, March, so essentially quarter 1, play out. Because again, going back to the Chaos Legion, if that does sell out, if that does sell out well before March, that could be an interesting moment of hype for the game, right? We sell out of a set. We don't burn all the rest of them because people decide that they want to come in, ape in. We get to see all the rest of the summoners. Again, it could be interesting is all I'm saying. So again, I don't know how else to explain it outside of the fact that when we were in December, I think that it's not that the salt has totally gone away, but when we were in December, I was just looking at this and saying, well, this stuff is just going to bleed. Right? It's just going to bleed for the next couple of weeks because we know the team is going out on break for the holidays. Well deserved, right? Everybody should be able to take some time off and enjoy the holidays with family and friends. So this stuff is just going to bleed, and we don't know how long it's going to bleed for, because most of the sentiment, and I was the one saying this too, right? I'm just like, okay, well, they're going to plan in December when they're when they're off, right? Or during the holiday kind of break. They're not going to start working on it until they come back in January. But I think they showed with the release last week, with their kind of rough roadmap of what they want to get out for what's that called? What they want to get out for January. And we haven't even talked about Soulbound reward cards, but again, I'm not trying to get into too many specifics with this video. I'm just saying that all of these things together and the timelines that they're giving, I know the team has been notorious about not being, good with timelines, but I remain optimistic simply due to the gentleman, I forgot his name and his code name, who came on talking about the agile structure that the team is now following, and then using the December 13th release as an example of like that, one of their first implementations. So again, they release stuff then. They release stuff early January, right out of the gate, and out, coming out of the holidays. So I'm optimistic. I don't think we're going to get major releases every week. Maybe some land stuff over the next couple of weeks, but I am excited. And I don't know how else to say it. Maybe it's just the turn of the new year, but I am bullish on a lot of things that they're doing. Like I said, I briefly mentioned Soulbound reward cards. We didn't even get into that, but the more that they turn this into a better overall experience, and they give the exploitations and exploiters less to work with, right? So again, going to the Soulbound reward cards, to me, it just feels like we are actually being able to communicate with the team in a much better way. And I know proposals went live last year, and it was messy, right? It was messy. It was the first time any game had ever done this, right? Kudos to the Splinterlands team. It's the first time any game has ever done this where one of the first times a game has done this where they put major decisions out to the community. And again, we're not going to get it all right. Some of the stuff pissed the community off. Some of it, didn't, landed and then didn't perform well. Some of it didn't even land. We turned it down. Whatever the case is, I love the fact that now it feels like our voices are being heard. They're listening much more closely and intently. And more importantly, until we can get the player proposals up, in the last town hall, they talked about setting up some kind of structure, committee, whatever you want to call it, so that our voices, the community voices, could be heard in an organized way, and we can start working with the team much more closely. So maybe that's the crux of it all, right? I just feel like the community and the team are much more in sync now. Last year, especially the second half of last year, starting in like August, whatever, they were just throwing stuff at us, right? And it was cool stuff, but it was stuff that's like coming down the road, and we were excited. We bought into it, and then the hype died, and it's like, oh, like we just spent all this money, and we don't have anything to show for it, right? So I feel like now is when they want to deliver, and now is when they are taking the time to make sure that they're listening to us, and I think that goes a long way. And for the folks who have stuck around and can be an instrumental part of guiding this game, putting out great suggestions, voting with your SPS, voting with your, how you spend your time within the game, I think is going to be really, really important. So I know this is kind of a meandering video, but like I said, I got several comments saying like, oh, what happened to Papa Bear? You're so bullish. So again, I don't know how to explain it. I'm just, I don't know how to explain it like in clear black and white from where I was a couple of weeks ago to where I am now. But outside of the fact that I've seen some deliveries now. I see what the team is working on. I see some very, very attainable deadlines and goals, right? Because we're no longer talking about like 6 months out for a lot of these things. When they talk about Soulbound reward cards, they're trying to get it out by the end of the month. When they're talking about DECB, they want it out by the end of the month. When they're talking about land, they're saying that we're almost there. I'm assuming we're going to get it in January, hopefully, maybe in February if they can't hit it. But again, this stuff is like in a 2 to 4 to 6 week time frame, and I think that's much more manageable for our own expectations. And I think it's just a better way to be in sync. So again, all of that together to say that I don't know where the market goes, and I'm still bearish on a macro level, and I think that will filter down. But as a player of the game and as somebody who's just enjoying being here, enjoying the ride, again, I'm excited for where Splinterlands is going in 2023. And that also includes Splinterlands affiliated things. So Tower Defense, we haven't heard much on, and GLX, or GLS, I should say, GLG, the game specifically. we haven't heard much. Hopefully we'll get something on that soon. But if we start to get more of these things out and in the ecosystem, it's going to be fun fast, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. Let me know your thoughts though. Has 2023 changed your mind on anything? Has any of the recent news or anything, like, how are you feeling? Is my bullishness really that surprising? Does it make sense to you guys, or is everybody just salty? Which is totally fine. I had my time in the salt. I bathed in the salt for a while, and I'm coming out the other side, and I'm excited now. So I don't blame anybody if they're salty. All I'm trying to do is just get you to think about things in a different light, because sometimes seeing the glass half full might expose you to some cool opportunities or cool things that are coming down the pipeline. But that's all I have for you. Have an amazing rest of your day. We'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.